Sorry, I projected this slide ahead because I wasn't sure my laptop will work, so I was just testing. Sorry. So, I'm going to speak on our strengths. We have a lot of strengths over men. So many of those are biological, and how we can maximize the use of those strengths. So we know that the ultimate economic and spiritual unit of any civilization is still the family, which men don't understand. Workplace equality is what we all want, and we have come a long way, enough for some to say that men are on the decline. We see every day in our college ranks and medical school admissions that more and more women are coming ahead. In my own son's school, for example, the first 20 ranks are always girls. My son may occasionally figure in that first 20, but he's the only male. So that's happening. And as the ICICI Managing Director Chanda Kokar says, we don't ask for special privileges, we would rather get the job on our own merit. And she should know, because more than 40% of the senior management there is women. And it's not just that women are in traditional fields now, it is in banking, in finance, which are not traditionally women strengths. These are the names of some of the people who are across the world and in our country leading the financial institutions, including the government. State Bank of India is now being led by a woman. And our Apollo hospitals are led by women, Preeta Reddy, Sangeeta Reddy. So what are our strengths? First, the soft skills. We are basically empathetic people. We have an intuition, we understand the motivations that drive our employees or our peers, and we are responsive to others' feelings. Most women are inclusive and they tend to empower others rather than dominate over them. We have a highly collaborative style of working. We believe in teamwork, and we don't try to dominate over others. We give credit to people who deserve it. And most women are socially conscious leaders. They want to give back to the society whatever they feel they got from them, and they want to inspire the juniors and others. Of course, we have excellent communication skills. That's a biological strength. And women are relationship specialists. That also we know. They create and sustain momentum not only for themselves, but for everybody else who they work with. They have an innate creativity. We know they are multitasking, and they bring these strengths not only to the family but to the workplace. Their multitasking helps in the workplace. They are understanding. They are not aggressive. So when there is a problem at work, they understand that there may be a complexity behind it, and they don't start attacking their subordinates or juniors. And the more, not only the soft skills, now also the more shrewd skills, they are opportunity experts. They don't get distracted from their targets. They stay focused. Their eyes are always on the reward. They don't get the egos in the way. They are able to put their ego in standby mode to get that, to achieve that goal. They don't just see opportunity, they seize it. And it has been found in various international studies that when women were the bosses, they were rated as better leaders by their peers and their bosses. And the two traits where they have outscored men were in taking initiative and in driving for results. So these are important features which we don't know. And so, but the problem is that still most of the executive suites are largely boys' clubs, and all said and done, very small percentage of women do rise to the very top, and there is a persistent wage gap. So this is because we need to capitalize on our strengths. And what do we need to learn from men is that we never think we are awesome. If you ask a man who has been successful, if you ask him what is the secret of his success, he'll say, I am awesome. Ask a woman, she'll make excuses. She thinks that she somehow got fortunate and got into that position. We all have subconsciously so-called imposter syndrome that we are a fraud. We should not have been where we are. And this is being termed by psychologists. This is not something I made up. So mostly women feel that they somehow got it by mistake. And if you got something, you have to make sure that you're visible. The right people need to know that you have accomplished something. But women don't do it. And it is found that very few women will negotiate their first salary when they are joining their first job, whereas most of the men will do it, they will negotiate it. And this is how the wage gap will begin at the beginning, and it will continue throughout their career. And by not negotiating their salaries, they lose several million rupees or dollars throughout the course of their career. They don't ask for a raise or a promotion even when they deserve it, but the man who's less deserving will go and negotiate it. Because most women have a so-called tiara syndrome, meaning a crown. They feel that if they do work well, somebody will recognize it and put a crown on their heads. It doesn't happen. They also have, even the most successful women seem to have a Cinderella complex, that some Prince Charming will come and recognize them or rescue them, which will not happen. The reality is, you won't be rewarded unless you ask, but women are too shy, they dread it. You have to be assertive, and you have to see that your needs are also met in any situation. Assertiveness means asking in a healthy way, but not aggressively, not apologizing when it's not your fault. That doesn't mean you get aggressive, but it also means don't be passive, which most women are. Don't apologize for things that are not your fault. Don't ignore your own rights. Don't think you cannot ask for things that you want. And don't avoid conflict simply because you feel embarrassed to have a conflict. If it's required, it has to be done. Women should not get too emotional. While our emotional nature is an advantage in dealing with colleagues or subordinates, but then you should not get too emotional, and when you're negotiating for yourself or advocating for yourself, don't start apologizing. If you need that, if you deserve that raise or a promotion, don't get apologetic about it. Be cool and demand it. And while you work hard at your own profession or your clinical work, you also have to network. You also have to be, the men ask their bosses out for the evening party or drinks or squash or whatever they do, but we don't. So at that networking, they make great strides, which we don't. So you don't have to wait for your work to put you in the limelight, you have to put yourself there. And women have a tendency to be a little bit apologetic because they are women. But that's not necessarily necessary, because women have qualities which are good for business also. And you have to own that women have brought so much to the business world. Be determined to be taken seriously, and that you can do only if you're very good at your work. So keep yourself updated. There are no shortcuts. And very important is to have a lot of respect for your women colleagues. Don't look down upon them. They are also facing a lot of difficulties. They face the same challenges, and they will be your strongest support when you need them. Don't expect concessions because you're a woman, you have a family, you have a husband, in-laws. Nothing. You should be expect an equal platform, and you have to be ready for the required amount of work that's indicated. And if you're married, it's very important that you get the family support. You need not support chauvinism even if your in-laws or husband feels that they deserve it. There's no need to try and act to be a superwoman, managing everything at home and then at work. You will burn out. So you have to share the work, you have to demand help from your partner, and I think those are the strengths we have to capitalize on. Thank you.